Why do men avoid talking about their mental health? Most of the time when I meet guys for the first time, they are so willing to talk about how well they're doing, how great their lives are, where they're killing it. But what I've seen over and over again over the years is men come into rooms, circles, containers where there's safety and permission to be vulnerable. And then I see them break down, sharing their feelings and saying that I've never shared this with anyone, ever in my life. It's happened over and over and over again in the last 10 years. So why is that happening? Today I'm going to talk about the mental health stigma for men. My name is Jeddy. I'm the founder of the Rising Men movement. And over the past 10 years, I've spent time in circles, in rooms, and workshops with hundreds of men all over the world. And the one thing that I've seen over and over again is that men want to be vulnerable, they just don't know how. And they need to have the permission to be able to do so. So what are men doing about their mental health? Well, they're out there in the world answering the question, hey man, how you doing? With, I'm good. Everything's good. Life is great. Life is sweet. I'm living my best life. When really we know that every single one of us is going through challenges. Life isn't all rainbows and butterflies for anybody. But we're not willing to talk about that. Men instead are concealing how they feel. They're stuffing down frustration, anger, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, because we're afraid of what people will think. We're afraid of being seen as broken. Latest statistics say that 30% of men at some point in their lives experienced a major depressive sequence in their life. And only 1 out of 4 of those men actually talk about it. 1 out of 4. It's no coincidence that men also have 4 times the suicide rate as women in our country. Now, we gotta do something about that. That's not okay. It's a generational thing. We've learned for the past several generations that men don't show feelings. We don't talk about how we feel because it's weak. It makes you vulnerable. But vulnerability is actually a strength. It's an asset. When you're able to walk around in the world, clear of your emotions, clear of the anger and rage that you've been storing in your body, clear of the grief and sadness that you've been holding on to because of the loss that you've had in your life, you're more free, you're more available, less confined, less constricted by your emotional state. Now, if that makes sense to you, take a minute and hit that like button. Because vulnerability is a strength for us. It's something that allows us to be in deeper, trusting relationships with people. People can't trust us if they think that we're all good all the time because that's not the reality of the way things are. To be vulnerable doesn't mean to blazon your heart everywhere and pour your feelings out to anyone who's willing to listen. Vulnerability is a calculated skill set of how you share your emotions, when and where, and in the way in which you do. So, how do we flip this into being the norm, where men are able to share their feelings, where we have spaces and places to go, where we can talk about what's really going on, so we can show up more powerfully for our communities and our families? First thing to do is choose someone in your life that you already love and trust, somebody that you know cares about you. Reach out to that person and have an honest conversation with them. Let them know, hey, I want to get some things off my chest. I want to talk about how I'm really feeling and how I'm really doing. Have the courage to do it and prove to yourself that that person's not going to run away, not going to think of you differently. In fact, that they're going to embrace you more. The second thing to do would be to find a men's circle, whether it's local to you or a virtual men's circle, any space that's providing safety and confidentiality for men to share about how they're really doing, how you're really doing. These spaces are magical. I've seen men share things in these circles that they said they've never told anyone in their whole lives. And the amazing amounts of relief that I see men experience when they unload themselves of that burden they've been carrying is incredible. It's time. It's time to free yourself of those things you've been holding on to. It's time to no longer be alone in your griefs and your sorrows and your challenges. It's time to start letting people in. It makes all of us stronger leaders, and it brings our entire community and families together. Hey, if you made it all the way through to the end of this video, thanks for watching. Come check out our other videos, and if you're looking for resources and places where you can share yourself vulnerably and have support from other men, check out the description for some links below.